for more on the U.S. presence in the Caribbean. I'm joined by House Armed Services Committee Ranking Member Adam Smith. So, Congressman, do you think the American seizure of the tanker was the right move? And if the goal is to further pressure the Maduro regime ahead of possible land strikes, do you think it will work?
No, I don't think it's the right move, and he hasn't adequately explained it. I mean, why did we seize this oil tanker? And threatening war against Venezuela, I think, is a major mistake. I mean, remember, President Trump ran, in part, saying we've been engaged in all of these forever wars, these conflicts that we've gotten sucked into that have wound up costing Americans far more than we benefited from. And I think there were a lot of people who were sympathetic to that after 20-plus years of various wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and elsewhere. And now he's doing the exact opposite as president. He's expanding the idea of where we should go to war against all drug traffickers, apparently, and now against any country in the Western Hemisphere that he doesn't think is towing the American line. We should not be trying to dominate the Western Hemisphere. This is going to drag us into a conflict that is incredibly costly for the country, and it should be contrary to the values and principles of America. And let's keep in mind, there's no congressional authorization for any of this. He's doing it unilaterally, and I think contrary to the Constitution.
Back when he was first running, back in 2015, 2016, he talked a lot about taking Iraq's oil, essentially as payment for the war there. Obviously, his plan never saw fruit on that. Do you think this is about taking oil from Venezuela?
I think this is about something broadly worse than that. And if you read the national security strategy that was released last Thursday, look, we worked very hard over the course of the last 80 years to try to build a world that wasn't just about the most powerful nations subjugating the less powerful nations. That was the basic principle. After World War I and World War II, we thought having that type of world led to almost the destruction of the planet. Let's move in a different direction. Let's try to set up a rules-based international order based on the rule of law. Let's not try to dominate people. Now, there's all kinds of details around that, to be sure, and President Trump wants to erase all of that. I mean, remember, he came to office saying that he wanted to take Greenland and Panama and annex Canada. I mean, those are not the principles our country is supposed to be, advocating. And so I think it's really troubling that he has expanded this and wants the U.S. to be what we used to refer to as a rogue nation, as a nation that's just going to use its power to dominate its neighbors. We shouldn't be about that.
I also want to ask you about the annual National Defense Authorization Act, which was passed in the House today, as you know, contained language to compel the Pentagon to turn over the unedited video of the September 2nd double strike, or the second strike. If it's not turned over, Congress would curtail a quarter of the Defense Secretary's travel budget. Do you think that is enough of a penalty to actually get the Secretary to turn over the footage?
Probably not. It's what we could get Republicans in Congress to agree to. They are in the majority in the House and the Senate, and by their standards, it's a significant step. And I want to make it clear, the president's wrong. This is not over. I mean, they promised to release this video, and I'll tell you, the reason they're not releasing this video is if the American public saw it, they would realize that President Trump, Secretary Hegseth, and all manner of different Republicans have been lying about what's on it. It would undercut their basic argument. So I think we need a lot more robust investigation. I have, yes. So, and it goes beyond the video. Again, understand the power that the president is trying to assert here. The power to treat any drug trafficker anywhere as a legitimate target for U.S. military lethal force is an unbelievable expansion of presidential power. And this point has been made many times, but remember all the drug dealers that he's pardoned? Certainly the Honduras one, Ross Ulbricht, the Silk Road guy who was laundering through crypto billions of dollars in drug money. What this is about is President Trump, again, wanting to assert dominance and go outside the rule of law so that the U.S. and he as president can do whatever he wants to do. I think we should investigate this aggressively and get after the underpinnings and then also the specifics of this strike, which based on what I've seen, deserve a robust investigation.
Congressman Adam Smith, thank you.